A biblical perspective on life, culture and current events. This is 2020 on Vision.
We all know that the Bible says that we are sons and daughters of the Most High God, but living that out in our Christian life is something that many of us actually struggle with without realizing. I've got a very special guest today, and his name is Darryl Krause, and he's written a book called Father's Life, Fresh Perspectives for Fully Living as a Child of God. Darryl, I want to welcome you into the studio today.
Yeah, great. Good to be here. Thanks.
Darryl, I do love the title of your book, Father Life, Fresh Perspectives for Fully Living as a Child of God. I don't just want to talk about your book today, but I am very curious, where did you get these fresh perspectives from for fully living as a child of God?
Yeah, well, for me, the perspectives came gradually over time in my walk with God. And in the end, as I shared these things, people encouraging me to share, write a book or whatever. And it's sort of the things I wish I knew when I was younger, because it's things that really helped me. Yeah, for example, breaking down that tension we can feel between God's holiness and his love, things that really kind of led me on a path to a greater connection with God as a father.
Yeah, isn't it amazing when you look at Jesus? He often talked about the Father, didn't he? He referred to God so much as his Father. He walked in that relationship, didn't he? But very few of us as Christians, to be honest, I don't think many Christians even aspire to live there. They know it's true. They know they're a son or a daughter. But many of us don't even think, well, how does that outwork in our everyday lives?
Yeah, well, in the Bible, there's this idea of sonship, which is more than just having your birth certificate in order, in a sense. Like in the story of the prodigal son, he turned his back on sonship and he went off. And he was still related to his dad the whole time. He came back and he called him father, but he says, I've blown that sonship thing. I can't get that back. And the father says, rubbish. And he comes into sonship again. And that's what really the New Testament's talking about for us as sons and daughters of God. And we see in the life of Jesus too, this focus on the Father and really kind of wanting to be a part of what the Father's doing. That's what sonship's about.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, like when I was a new Christian, you sing songs, I'm a son of God, or, we are the sons of God. And you were like, yeah. And you accepted it. But like I said, living that out, outworking that, that's our challenge, isn't it?
It is. And so the one thing I see is that sonship is a calling to engage with the Father in what he's doing. It's not just a status we have. And I really think Jesus is a good example here. Like at the age of 12, he's just itching to get in there, be a part of the kingdom business and the rest of his life. And so for us, I think we're often focused on Jesus, and rightly so. It's all about him. And he says, no one comes to the Father except through me. But even in that statement, he's saying, hey, I'm just the part of the way to get to, and the end destination's the Father. And being in a right alignment, living in harmony with the Father is what Jesus exemplified. So if we're going to be good followers of Jesus, we've got to learn to live in harmony with the Father.
Awesome. I love it so much. So what are your two greatest revelations of God as our Father? How do you see him as our Father?
Probably the first and biggest life-changing revelation for me was just realizing that his holiness and his love are not in tension. And, for example, in the heart of a father, there can be both total acceptance and high ideals at the same time. He's got aspirations for how we can grow, and he looks forward to the day when we're going to be more involved in the family business. You can just imagine a little kid digging around the garden with his dad, and it's total acceptance, but the father's looking forward to a day when they can be doing more meaningful things together as well. So just getting a kind of an understanding that his holiness and his love are not in tension, but to see it, we have to really understand how he looks at the heart and not our performance. He's looking for trust more than performance. That's what it means, faith, not works. I mean, trust, not performance.
I love that. Yeah, well, when you said that, it makes me think of King David, because he was known as a man after God's own heart, wasn't he? But he's definitely not a morally perfect man, is he?
No. And that phrasing there, man after God's own heart, is sometimes misunderstood. People think it's like he's chasing after God, but it actually, in the Hebrew, it's as heart of him. And it's like when we see a painting or there's a piece of music by some great guy, but it's based on another guy's work, and it says such and such after this and that. Adam had a son in his image, after his image, we say. And so David had a heart that was in the image of God's heart. It resonated. It was in harmony with God's heart, even though it was a bit, warts and all. But the core of his heart was really in tune with God's heart. I think that's the key thing there.
Well, we're digging deep now. So how does the average person listening to us right now, they might be driving their car, driving their tractor, driving their ute, or going for a walk, or doing some housework or something, how do we get that heart like David? How do we have a heart after God's heart?
Yeah, I think we have to start with really a revelation of the Father's heart. And yeah, there's something, I don't know how to lead people into it without doing a whole lot of explanation here, but you have to really understand that Jesus and the Father are one. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. And so all the things we love about Jesus, all that warmth, that compassion, all that stuff, that's the Father's heart as well. And yeah, he has high ideals. He has some rules and regulations, but they're just the framework for life. They're just to stop us going off the edges. And really, we can embrace that. I mean, it's fascinating in David's life. The whole of Psalm 119, the longest psalm in the Bible, he goes on and on and on and on about the beauty he sees in the law of God.
Yeah.
Your statutes set my heart free. There's just, David saw beauty in the framework because he saw it was all about good relationships.
Isn't that amazing? Because some people can read the first 5 books of the Old Testament, because that's the law, isn't it?
Yeah.
And see it as hard and difficult and like, wow, how can you ever live up to these standards? And like you said, and yet David saw it as a beautiful thing. So again, how do you think David reached that point?
Well, somehow he had a basic trust in God that he developed as a shepherd boy. And he understood the goodness of God. See, goodness is an important concept because on the one hand, we can say, oh, this is a good guy, he's really fun and friendly and whatever. But if he cheats a bit on his taxes and doesn't always keep an appointment when he says he will, can we really say good? You need both sides. You need the upright side of goodness and the warm side of goodness. And David saw that in God. So he could embrace the rules and regulations because he saw the beauty in it. There's some fascinating examples in the law of Moses, actually, of where a law is given and then straight away it's explaining, but listen, it's all about the heart.
Yeah, I love it. That's a very Scandinavian explanation there. And if you don't know who Darryl Krause is, he actually lives in Norway. He married a Norwegian lady. He is an Aussie by birth. But I imagine the Scandinavians in that with that Germanic mindset that things have to be done right. And I love how you sing, because that is God, isn't it? He is all about doing things right, but he's also about grace and love and that patience, like you said. I love it so much. But so people need to really just see God the way David has, see the law the way David has. What other tips have you got to really press in to the Father and to his heart?
Yeah, so to me, there were some important lessons about faith. And faith at one stage was this kind of mysterious religious word that was very intangible. In time, I've come to see it, really it's a matter of trust. And you can really, trust is somehow more tangible and we can understand. You can say you have faith. Like Abraham, he didn't just have faith. He had faith in God. Yeah. And as a young Christian, I was trying to have faith or faith for this to happen or faith for that. But Abraham had faith in God. And it's explained in Romans 4, I think around verse 21, how he got to that place, being fully persuaded that God had power to do what he had promised. And there's 2 things there. The one is the power that God's almighty, but he'd keep his word. He's trustworthy. He's good in that sense.
Yeah.
So he came to this, Abraham came to this place of seeing that, God can be fully trusted. And that's... Yeah, I just encourage anyone listening, whatever you're doing, driving a car, listening to the radio on your phone, whatever it is, just really open yourself up to allow God to prove his trustworthiness to you, because that's how you get fully persuaded. You've got to be persuadable. Yeah. You just be open and he'll give you the evidence you need to trust him.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, because you're right. I mean, I was like you as a new Christian. Faith was almost presented as this thing you needed to get. It was almost like going to get a car or going to get this. You needed faith. But like you said, And I heard someone preach about the 3 Hebrew boys in the fire and, that they stood in faith and they were believing God. I don't think they were. I think they were just trusting God. Like you said, I think they were just saying, you know what? If God wants to rescue us, he will. If he doesn't, hey, we're not going to bow our knee. It was just that simple childlike trust, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah. So that's the sort of faith we need to get into. We need to have that childlike willingness to trust, but not necessarily to stay in a kind of a childish relationship to God. Grow in maturity, but hanging on to that childlike willingness to trust.
Do you think it's understanding his love that really helps us come to that trust?
Yeah, but you got to understand his love in the wholeness of what it's about. It's not just warm fuzzies and he just, he just loves, accepts you as you are, and he loves you so much he's just going to leave you like that with all your struggles and insecurities. That's not love. And so he does have high ideals. He does have aspirations. That's part of his love for us. It might sound surprising to say it, but God actually knows about our God-given potential. He gave it to us, right? And he sees that. And he sees that much more than our failings and weaknesses. And he's trying to breathe life into that God-given potential so we can become who he created us to be.
Oh, I love that. Darryl, just listening to you makes me want to read your book. And I'm sure there's other people listening right now who want to read your book as well. Now, your website is fathersimage.eu. A bit different. It's fathersimage.eu. Is that the best way to get a hold of your book?
That's a way to get information about it. And there's a link to some distributors around the world, including Koorong in Australia. So you can also just go to the Koorong website if you're in Australia. They've got it listed there last time I checked.
And the book's called Father Life, Fresh Perspectives for Fully Living as a Child of God. So, Darryl, I want to thank you so much for joining us on 2020 today. I hope you enjoy your time in Australia. He's here from Norway, visiting family and doing a few errands and visiting some radio stations like Vision. And but your book sounds amazing. Well done on writing it. It's not an easy task. And look forward to seeing you next time you're in Australia. Come and visit us again here at Vision.
Well, thank you very much. And it wasn't an easy task to write. I failed English in high school, but we got there in the end, and it's out there, and it's impacting people's lives. Thanks for letting me share about it.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.